My parents want me to die so my brother can go to college. I'm 17 years old, and I first noticed something was wrong 3 months ago when my mom started asking weird questions about my daily schedule. Not the normal stuff like when I'd be home from school, but specific details about which route I took when I went running, what time I usually left, whether anyone else was ever with me. At first, I thought she was just being an overprotective parent, especially after my younger brother Tyler got accepted to Stanford with a full financial need package. The total cost was still going to be $28,000 a year for 4 years, and I'd heard my parents arguing about money late at night for weeks. My dad's business had been struggling, and mom had been picking up extra shifts at the hospital, but it wasn't enough. Tyler's acceptance letter sat on the fridge like a trophy, but also like a burden none of us could figure out how to carry. Then I found the insurance documents in my dad's office. I was looking for printer paper and opened the wrong drawer. There was a life insurance policy on me that I'd never known about. $500,000, enough to pay for Tyler's entire education and then some. The policy had been purchased 8 months ago, right around when Tyler started applying to colleges. I put the papers back and didn't say anything, trying to convince myself it was normal for parents to have life insurance on their kids. But then the appointment started. My mom, who's a nurse, suddenly insisted I needed a full physical, then a follow-up with a specialist, then another appointment with a different doctor. Each time, she'd fill out the paperwork before I arrived and hand me forms to sign without really letting me read them. I started paying attention to my parents' conversations. They'd stop talking whenever I entered a room. My dad would close his laptop quickly, but not before I caught glimpses of spreadsheets with numbers that looked like financial calculations. I heard my mom on the phone once saying something about timing and making sure everything was documented properly. When I asked who she was talking to, she said it was about Tyler's financial aid, but her face went pale, like I'd caught her at something. Tyler's college acceptance was in May, his classes started in August, and my parents' behavior got stranger as summer approached. My dad started asking about my running route again, whether I ever ran alone on the trails behind our neighborhood, whether I wore headphones that might prevent me from hearing someone approaching. My mom suggested I take up rock climbing at the new gym downtown, really pushed it, even offered to pay for a membership, which was strange given how broke they claimed to be. When I said I wasn't interested, she looked disappointed in a way that seemed off. I found a notebook in the kitchen drawer where my mom usually kept recipes. It wasn't recipes inside, it was a timeline. June 15, increase policy. June 20, final medical clearance. July 1, beneficiary confirmation. August 10, Tyler's tuition due. Between July 1 and August 10, there was just a blank space with a question mark. I took a picture of the page with my phone and put the notebook back exactly where I found it, my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold it steady. That night at dinner, my dad asked me if I'd ever thought about learning to ride a motorcycle, said his friend was selling one cheap and it might be a fun summer activity. My mom jumped in immediately, saying it was a great idea, that I should definitely do it. Tyler looked confused, because our parents had always been strictly against motorcycles, called them death machines, but now they were encouraging me to get one. I started sleeping with my door locked, started varying my routine, stopped running alone, checked my car for brake problems before driving anywhere. I felt paranoid and insane, but I couldn't shake the feeling that my parents were waiting for something to happen to me. Then yesterday, I overheard them talking in their bedroom. I'd come home early from work and they didn't hear me come in. My dad was saying they were running out of time, that Tyler's tuition was due in 3 weeks, and they didn't have any other options. My mom's voice cracked when she said she didn't know if she could go through with it, that she kept seeing my face. My dad said it was either this or Tyler's future was over, that they'd already committed, that everything was in place. I stood outside their door, barely breathing, and that's when I realized what the plan actually was. The rest of the story is on my channel or linked below. I stand outside their door, frozen, my heart hammering so hard I think it might burst from my chest. My own parents are planning to kill me, for money, for Tyler's college tuition. The words echo in my head. Impossible, and yet undeniable. When I finally manage to move, I'm careful not to make a sound. I back away from their door slowly, each step deliberate, until I reach my bedroom. Once inside, I lock the door and slide down against it until I'm sitting on the floor, knees pulled tight against my chest. My hands won't stop shaking. I try to breathe, but my lungs feel like they're collapsing. This can't be happening. Parents are supposed to protect you, not calculate the financial benefit of your death. I pull out my phone and stare at the screen. Who could I even call? The police? And tell them that I think my parents are plotting to kill me based on some overheard conversations and a notebook with dates? They'd think I was being dramatic, or worse, that I needed psychological help. I need proof. Real, undeniable proof that I can show someone who will believe me. My bedroom suddenly feels like a trap. What if they decide tonight is the night? What if they're mixing something into my breakfast tomorrow? My mom is a nurse. She would know exactly what to use, how to make it look natural. I don't sleep that night. I sit with my back against the door, jumping at every creak in the hallway. By morning, I have a plan. Not a good one, but it's something. I wait until both my parents leave for work, then search the house for anything I can use to record them. In the drawer where Dad keeps old electronics, I find a voice recorder he used to dictate notes for work. The battery still works. It's small enough to hide, and I test it to make sure it can pick up voices from across a room. That night, I wait until they're downstairs watching TV. I slip into their bedroom and hide the recorder between the headboard and the wall, where it won't be visible but should pick up anything they say. Then I retreat to my room, lock the door, and wait. The next morning, I retrieve the recorder while they're in the shower and getting dressed. My hands are trembling so badly I almost drop it twice. Back in my room, I put in earbuds and press play. There's about an hour of nothing rustling sounds as they get into bed, a few mundane comments about a bill that needs paying. Then my dad's voice, clear as day. We need to finalize the plan for the 10th. July 10th, 9 days from now. My mom's response is muffled, but I hear too suspicious if it happens at home. The trail is perfect, my dad says. Isolated enough that no one will see, but not so remote that it would be strange for her to be running there. You said the medication will make it look natural? Heart failure, my mom replies, her voice clinical and detached. With her medical history of those fainting spells we've been documenting, no one will question it. The insurance company might investigate, but everything's in order. They continue discussing details, timing, how to act appropriately, devastated, what to tell Tyler. I listened to the whole recording twice, feeling sicker each time. There's no ambiguity here, no way to interpret this as anything other than what it is, a murder plot. I'm sitting on my bed, staring at the recorder in my hands, when I hear the front door open and close. Tyler's voice calls out from downstairs, excited and carefree. He wasn't expected back from his Stanford campus visit until tomorrow. I hide the recorder under my mattress and go downstairs. Tyler is in the kitchen, grabbing a soda from the fridge, his Stanford sweatshirt still new and bright red. "Hey," he says when he sees me. "You would not believe how amazing the campus is. The engineering building alone is worth the tuition." His face is flushed with excitement, eyes bright with possibilities. For a moment, I almost don't say anything. He looks so happy, so full of dreams about his future. But then I remember the recording upstairs, my parents calmly discussing my death like it's just another item on their to-do list. "Tyler," I say, my voice steadier than I expected. "I need to show you something." He follows me upstairs, still chatting about dorm layouts and the robotics lab he toured. In my room, I close the door and take a deep breath. "I found something," I tell him, "about Mom and Dad, about how they're planning to pay for Stanford." His expression shifts from excitement to confusion. "What are you talking about?" I pull out the notebook with the timeline and show him the picture I took. I explain about the insurance policy, the weird medical appointments, the motorcycle suggestion. Finally, I play him the recording. Tyler's face drains of color as he listens. When it finishes, he shakes his head. "No, this is you must be misunderstanding. They wouldn't. They couldn't. They're planning to kill me, Tyler. For the insurance money. For your tuition." "That's insane," he says, but his voice wavers. "Why would you even think that? Why would you make this up?" "I'm not making it up." I replay the part where they specifically mention July 10th and the trail behind our neighborhood. Tyler stands up, backing away from me. "No, I don't believe it. You've always been jealous that I got into Stanford. You're trying to ruin this for me." "Jealous?" I stare at him, incredulous. "They're planning my death, and you think I'm jealous of you?" "I'm going to ask them myself," he says, reaching for the door. I grab his arm. "No, you can't tell them I know. You can't tell them about the recording." He pulls away from me. "I don't know what's going on with you, but this is sick. Really sick." He leaves, slamming my door behind him. I stand there, alone again. The recording still playing its damning evidence to an empty room. My own brother doesn't believe me. The one person I thought would help me thinks I'm making it all up out of jealousy. 9 days until July 10th. 9 days to convince anyone that my parents are planning to kill me, or to figure out how to save myself. Tyler avoids me for the rest of the day. I catch him glancing at me during dinner, his expression torn between concern and disbelief. Our parents act normal, laughing, asking about his Stanford visit, my mom serving everyone her famous lasagna. I watch her hands carefully as she dishes out my portion, searching for any sign of tampering. When no one's looking, I switch my plate with Tyler's. The next morning, I wake up to find Dad hovering in my doorway. "Hey kiddo, thought we could go for a run together on that trail behind the neighborhood. Been a while since we've done that." My blood turns to ice. "The trail?" My voice cracks. I have plans with Jess today. Come on, it'll be good for us. Just a quick 3 miles. He smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. "We haven't had much father-daughter time lately. Maybe tomorrow," I say, pulling my blanket tighter. "I promise Jess." He lingers a moment too long before nodding. "Sure thing, rain check." As soon as he leaves, I grab my phone and text Jess to come over immediately. I need witnesses around me as much as possible now. Over the next few days, I notice changes. My parents whisper when they think I'm not listening. Dad keeps suggesting activities that would get me alone, hiking, driving lessons on back roads, swimming at the quarry. Mom starts preparing my meals separately from everyone else's, claiming she's experimenting with recipes. I dump everything she gives me down the garbage disposal when she's not looking and grab protein bars from my hidden stash instead. On Tuesday night, I wait until everyone's asleep before sneaking down to Dad's workshop in the basement. If they're planning something for July 10th, there might be evidence. The workshop is meticulously organized, Dad's tools hanging on pegboards, his workbench clean except for a few projects in progress. I check his filing cabinet first, rifling through folders labeled with household expenses and business documents. Nothing suspicious. I'm about to give up when I notice the edge of a manila envelope sticking out from beneath the workbench. I pull it out carefully and open it under the dim workshop light. Inside are printouts of motorcycle listings, a Honda CBR circled in red pen, a handwritten note in Dad's writing, trail location scouted, 2.7 miles from main entrance, around blind corner, no cameras, steep drop-off. My hands tremble as I flip to the next page. A map of the trail with an X marked at what must be the location. Another page has a timeline written in Dad's neat handwriting. July 7, finalize medication dosage, MA. July 9, purchase motorcycle using Jay's ID. July 10, 6 a.m. medication and breakfast, 7 a.m. drive to trail, 9 a.m. accident. July 12, file insurance claim. There's also a photocopy of my driver's license and what looks like practice sheets of my signature. I stuff everything back in the envelope and take it with me. Heart pounding so hard I worry they might hear it through the floor. I barely sleep that night. The envelope hidden between my mattress and box spring alongside the voice recorder. The next morning, Mom makes pancakes for breakfast. "Special recipe for my special girl," she says, sliding a plate in front of me with a smile that chills me to the bone. "Thanks, Mom. They look delicious." I wait until she turns to serve Tyler, then slip the pancakes into my napkin when Dad is engrossed in his newspaper. "Wow, you were hungry today," Mom comments when she returns to find my empty plate. "Would you like more?" "No thanks," I say, patting my stomach. "Actually feeling a little dizzy. Might go lie down." Her eyes light up with something that looks disturbingly like hope. "Oh, dizzy how?" "Just tired," I mutter, standing up. I pretend to sway slightly, grabbing the table for support. "I'll help you upstairs," Mom says quickly, reaching for my arm. "I'm fine," I insist, pulling away. "Just need some rest." In my room, I examine the pancakes I smuggled upstairs. They look normal, but when I break one apart, there's a slightly bitter smell. I seal them in a plastic bag and hide it with my growing collection of evidence. That afternoon, I'm searching through Mom's nursing bag when Tyler walks in. "What are you doing?" he demands, making me jump. "Nothing," I say automatically, shoving the bag aside. "This has gone too far," he says, closing the door behind him. "You're acting paranoid. Hiding food? Searching through their stuff? I saw you take Dad's envelope from the workshop last night." I freeze. "You were watching me?" "I was getting water and saw you sneaking around." He crosses his arms. "You need to tell me what's really going on. All of it." For a moment, I consider lying, but the concern in his eyes breaks something in me. I pull out the envelope from under my mattress, along with the recorder and the bag of pancakes. They're planning to kill me on July 10th, I say, laying everything out on my bed. Mom's been drugging my food, probably testing dosages. Dad's planning a motorcycle accident on the trail. They've even practiced forging my signature to buy the bike. Tyler's face pales as he examines the evidence. He picks up the timeline, his hands shaking. This is Dad's handwriting. I know. And these pancakes? I think they're drugged. Mom was way too interested when I said I felt dizzy. Tyler sits heavily on the edge of my bed. I didn't want to believe you. I know that too. He flips through the motorcycle listings, stopping at a receipt tucked in the back. This is dated yesterday. His voice cracks as he reads it. Motorcycle purchase receipt. Your signature. $4,200 cash. He looks up at me, horror dawning on his face. They've already bought it. 3 days, I whisper. We have 3 days before July 10th. Tyler stands up suddenly, determination replacing shock. We need to confront them, together, with all of this. What if they deny it? Or worse, what if they decide to move up their timeline? They won't, Tyler says firmly. Because we're going to record everything. And I'm calling the police the second things go sideways. I nod slowly, the weight on my shoulders lifting slightly now that I'm not alone. Tomorrow, I decide. We'll do it tomorrow when they're both home. Tyler pulls me into a hug, tight and protective. I'm so sorry I didn't believe you. He whispers into my hair. I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. I promise. For the first time in days, I let myself cry. I stand in front of my parents' bedroom door, evidence clutched in my trembling hands. Tyler stands beside me, his face set with determination I've never seen before. We've spent the morning organizing everything, the recordings, the motorcycle receipt, the drugged pancakes in their sealed bag, the timeline with Dad's handwriting, the trail map with the X marking my intended death site. Ready? Tyler whispers. I nod, not trusting my voice. My heart hammers against my ribs so hard I wonder if they can hear it through the door. Tyler knocks firmly. Mom, Dad, we need to talk to you. It's important. There's a pause, then Dad's voice. Come in. They're both sitting on the edge of their bed. Mom's folding laundry. Dad's reading something on his tablet. They look so normal, so mundane. How can these be the same people who plotted my death over pancakes? What's up, kids? Dad asks, setting his tablet aside. Tyler closes the door behind us. We know what you're planning. Mom's hands freeze mid-fold. What are you talking about? I step forward, placing the manila envelope on the bed between them. We know about July 10th, about the trail, about the motorcycle you bought yesterday with my forged signature. Dad's face drains of color. Mom's eyes dart to him, then back to me. Honey, I don't know what you think, she starts. I cut her off by pressing play on the recorder. Their voices fill the room, discussing medication dosages and the perfect spot for my accident. Mom's clinical description of how heart failure would look natural with my documented medical history. Dad lunges for the recorder, but Tyler blocks him. Don't, Tyler warns. We have copies of everything. Mom's composure crumbles first. Her face contorts and she begins to sob, her body folding in on itself. We never wanted to hurt you. She wails, the words barely intelligible. You have to understand, we had no choice. No choice? I repeat, my voice rising. You were planning to kill me, your own daughter. Dad puts his head in his hands. The business is failing, he says quietly. Has been for years. I've been taking loans from people you don't want to owe money to. Gambling debts, Tyler says flatly. It's not a question. Dad looks up, surprised. How did you... I found the threats in your email when I was looking for more evidence, Tyler says. Charming people you've been dealing with, Dad. Mom reaches for my hand, but I step back. We were desperate. She pleads. These people, they don't just take your house or your car. They take everything. They hurt people you love. So you decided to hurt me first? The betrayal burns in my chest like acid. The insurance policy was supposed to be a last resort, Dad says, his voice hollow. But then Tyler got into Stanford, and the payment deadlines were coming up, and those men were threatening to break my legs if I didn't pay by August. So I became expendable, I say bitterly. Mom shakes her head frantically. Not expendable. Never that. We thought at least this way something good could come from it. Tyler could have his future. The policy would cover the debts. We'd be safe. Safe? I laugh, the sound harsh even to my own ears. You were going to murder me. We convinced ourselves it would be painless, Dad whispers. That you wouldn't suffer. Tyler steps forward, disgust written across his face. Did you even look for other options? Scholarships? Loans? Literally anything besides killing your own child? We tried everything, Mom insists. The debts are too big. Over $400,000 now with interest. And with your tuition. I'm not going, Tyler interrupts. Not if it costs my sister's life. Not if it means being connected to people who could even consider this. Dad stands suddenly. You don't understand what these people are capable of. If we don't pay, then we go to the police. I say firmly. All of us. Tell them everything. They'll put us in prison, Mom whispers. You were going to kill me, I shout. What did you think would happen? The doorbell rings, cutting through the tension. We all freeze, looking at each other. Are you expecting someone? Tyler asks. Dad shakes his head, moving toward the window. He pulls back the curtain and goes rigid. Police, he says, his voice barely audible. 2 cars. Mom makes a strangled sound. Did you call them? Tyler and I exchange a look. No, I say honestly. We wanted to talk to you first. The doorbell rings again, followed by a sharp knock. Police, open the door. Dad sinks back onto the bed, all fight leaving his body. It's over, he says quietly. Mom begins to sob again, rocking back and forth. I'm sorry, she keeps saying. I'm so sorry. Tyler moves to the window, peering out. There's a detective and 4 officers, he reports. Someone must have tipped them off. I think of the evidence we've been gathering. The people who might have seen or heard something. Jess, maybe, who I'd been acting strange around. Or Priya from next door, who might have overheard our parents through the thin walls. The knocking grows more insistent. Police, we have a warrant. Dad stands slowly, straightening his shoulders. For a moment, he looks like the father I remember from before all this, strong, protective, dependable. I'll talk to them, he says. I'll tell them everything. This was my idea, my debts, my plan. Mom reaches for his hand. We both did this. she says quietly. They walk downstairs together while Tyler and I hang back, watching from the top of the stairs as Dad opens the front door. Two officers immediately step inside, followed by a woman in a suit who identifies herself as Detective Ramirez. We received an anonymous tip about a conspiracy to commit murder at this address, she says, her voice carrying clearly up the stairs. Are you Leonard and Marie Caldwell? Dad nods, shoulders slumped. Yes, and I think we need to talk. Tyler puts his arm around me as we watch our parents being read their rights in our living room. The detective notices us on the stairs, and her expression softens slightly. Are you two okay? She asks. I don't know how to answer that. Will I ever be okay again, knowing my parents valued my life less than money? That they saw me as a solution to their problems rather than their child? No, Tyler answers for both of us, his arm tightening around my shoulders. But we will be, as they lead our parents out in handcuffs. Mom looks back at me, her face streaked with tears. I love you, she mouths. I turn away, unable to watch anymore. The house feels suddenly empty, hollowed out by betrayal. Tyler and I stand in silence as police officers begin searching the house, collecting the evidence we've already gathered, taking photographs and notes. What happens now? I ask quietly. Tyler pulls out his phone. I'm calling Aunt Meredith. She'll know what to do. I nod, remembering our mother's sister who always seemed to disapprove of how our parents raised us. Maybe she saw something the rest of us missed. As Tyler talks to our aunt, I sit on the stairs, trying to process everything. July 10th is still 3 days away. 3 days that I wasn't supposed to live through. Instead, my parents are being driven away in police cars, facing charges that will likely keep them imprisoned for years. I should feel relieved. I should feel safe. Instead, I just feel hollow, like something vital has been carved out of me. The detective approaches, sitting beside me on the stairs. We're going to need statements from both of you, she says gently, but it can wait until tomorrow if you need time. How did you know? I ask. Who called you? She hesitates. The tip came through an anonymous line. Someone who said they overheard plans for a murder disguised as an accident. They left enough details that we had to investigate. I nod, wondering if I'll ever know who saved my life with that phone call. Tyler returns, his face showing relief. Aunt Meredith is on her way, he says. She says we can stay with her as long as we need to. As the police continue their work around us, Tyler sits on my other side, taking my hand in his. I meant what I said, he tells me. I'm not going to Stanford. Not now. Not now. But it's your dream, I protest weakly. He shakes his head. Some dreams cost too much. He squeezes my hand. We're going to figure this out together. All of it. For the first time since discovering my parents' plan, I feel something like hope flickering in my chest. It's small and fragile, but it's there. Together, I agree, squeezing his hand back. The courtroom feels too bright, too sterile. I sit in the front row beside Tyler, watching our parents in their matching orange jumpsuits. Mom's lost weight since her arrest 3 months ago. Her cheeks are hollow. Her nurse's hands, once so confident when checking foreheads for fevers or bandaging scraped knees, now fidget restlessly in her lap. Dad looks older, his shoulders permanently slumped under the weight of what they'd planned to do. All rise, the bailiff announces, and we stand as the judge enters. I still can't believe we're here. That the people who tucked me in at night and cheered at my soccer games are now defendants in a conspiracy to commit murder case. My murder. The prosecutor presents the timeline we found in Dad's workshop, the drugged pancakes, the motorcycle purchased with my forged signature. Each piece of evidence feels like another nail in a coffin, not mine, as they'd planned, but the one containing what I once thought our family was. When it's our turn to testify, Tyler goes first. His voice cracks when he describes finding the receipt for the motorcycle, dated just 3 days before their planned accident. The receipt showed $4,200 cash, he says, with my sister's forged signature. The courtroom is silent except for Mom's quiet sobbing. When I take the stand, I can barely look at them. They purchased a $500,000 life insurance policy on me 8 months ago. I explain, my voice steadier than I feel. The beneficiary confirmation came through on July 1st, and they planned my accident for July 10th. And why do you believe they were planning this? The prosecutor asks. Tyler's tuition for Stanford was due August 10th. I say. He was accepted but still needed $28,000 a year that they couldn't afford. And Dad's gambling debts were coming due. Dad flinches at the word gambling, as though hearing it spoken aloud in court makes it more real than the hundreds of thousands he lost. The sentencing comes 2 weeks later. Conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. 15 years for Dad, 12 for Mom, with the possibility of parole after 8. As they're led away, Mom turns to look at us one last time. I'm sorry, she mouths, tears streaming down her face. I don't respond. I'm not ready to forgive. I'm not sure I'll ever be. You sure about this? Aunt Meredith asks, helping Tyler pack the last of his things into her SUV. It's been 2 months since the sentencing, and we've been living with her in her spacious downtown condo. Completely sure, Tyler says, closing the trunk. Stanford will still be there next year. He deferred his admission after everything happened. The university was surprisingly understanding when he explained the circumstances, leaving out the murder plot details. Just saying our parents were involved in criminal activity that left us without financial support. What about you? Aunt Meredith turns to me. Still okay with community college? I nod. It makes sense financially, and I can transfer to a 4-year school later. What I don't say is that I'm not ready to be far from Tyler. He's the only person who truly understands what we've been through. The betrayal. The nightmares where I still wake up, gasping, feeling phantom motorcycle crashes, or imagining the bitter taste of whatever drugs Mom had planned to give me. Back at Aunt Meredith's, I spread financial aid forms across the dining table. After hours researching scholarship opportunities, I've found several that Tyler qualifies for, ones our parents never bothered to look into, too focused on their insurance solution. Look at this, I tell Tyler, pushing a printout toward him. The Westfield Engineering Scholarship. Full tuition for students with your GPA and test scores. And this one covers housing. Tyler stares at the papers. They could have applied for these. They could have found another way. I know. All of this, he gestures at the scholarship information, was available the whole time. They just didn't look hard enough. I reach across the table and take his hand. They were desperate. Dad's gambling debts were crushing them. That doesn't excuse what they planned to do to you, Tyler says fiercely. No, I agree. It doesn't. Aunt Meredith's spare bedroom has become mine over the past 6 months. Photos of Tyler and me from childhood cover one wall, the happy moments before everything fell apart. I've been seeing a therapist twice weekly, trying to process the trauma of knowing my parents valued my life at exactly $500,000. You don't have to do this, Tyler says from the doorway as I pull on my jacket. I know, I reply, but I need to. The prison visiting room is cold and impersonal. Mom sits across from me, separated by plexiglass. She looks even thinner than at the trial, her nurse's uniform replaced by prison gray. Her eyes widen when she sees me, like she can't believe I actually came. She picks up the phone with shaking hands. You came, she whispers. I needed to understand, I say. How you could do it, how you could plan to kill me. She flinches at my directness. We weren't thinking clearly. The debts, the threats, Tyler's future. It all became this tangled mess where we couldn't see straight anymore. You were going to kill me, I repeat. Your own daughter. I know, she says, tears forming. There's nothing I can say to make that right. Nothing. We sit in silence for a moment, the weight of everything between us. Tyler deferred Stanford. I finally say, he's applying for scholarships, real ones. A flash of pain crosses her face. He was so excited about going. He couldn't go knowing how you planned to pay for it. She nods slowly, understanding. And you? Are you okay? The question almost makes me laugh. How could I possibly be okay? I'm living with Aunt Meredith, starting community college next month. She always was better than me, Mom says quietly. More stable. She didn't plan to murder her child, so yeah, I'd say so. Mom winces but doesn't argue. I deserve that. I lean forward, pressing my palm against the plexiglass. I came here today because I needed you to know something. I'm going to be okay, not because of you, but despite what you tried to do. Tyler and I are rebuilding our lives. I'm glad, she whispers. I don't forgive you, I continue. I don't know if I ever will, but I'm not going to let what you planned define the rest of my life. She nods, tears streaming down her face now. You deserve so much better than what we were going to do to you. As I stand to leave, she calls my name. I turn back reluctantly. I know it doesn't matter now, she says, but I do love you. I always have. We just lost our way so completely. I don't say I love you back. Those words feel hollow now, corrupted by what they were willing to do. Instead, I just nod once and walk away, back toward the life I'm building from the ashes of the one they nearly took from me. Outside, Tyler waits in Aunt Meredith's car. How was it? He asks as I climb in. Necessary, I answer. Not healing, but necessary. He nods, understanding without needing more explanation. That's how we've survived these past months in the spaces between words, in the shared trauma that no one else can fully comprehend. As we drive away from the prison, I feel something shifting inside me. Not forgiveness, not yet, but perhaps the first fragile step toward whatever comes after surviving your parents' betrayal. Toward building something new from the broken pieces they left behind.